Good morning everybody. For 10th standard, today we'll continue the chapter on absorption through roots and ascent of sap. So in the last class we left till osmosis. We're just starting about osmosis. So in osmosis, define it like the movement of solvent molecule from the region of its higher concentration to the region of its lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Or in other words, we can say the movement of solvent takes place from a less concentrated solution or a pure solvent to a higher concentrated solution through a semi-permeable membrane. So please remember that this semi-permeable membrane, this word is very important. If you don't fail to write that, you are going to get 0 in 10th standard. Now we'll see through an experiment here. The experiment is, we call it a thistle funnel experiment. We have a thistle funnel which is inverted in a beaker of water. This can be a pure water or it can be a less 5% solution of water and salt or sugar, whatever it is. Inside the thistle funnel, first we have a semi-permeable membrane attached to the base of the thistle funnel, which can be connected with a rubber band, and inside this thistle funnel there will be a 10% salt solution. So outside we have a pure solvent like water or 5% solution, inside you have 10% salt solution. Now we clamp this inside so that it stands erect. It can be used, we can use a clamp stand here. Okay. Now we mark the initial level of the water inside the thistle funnel. So this is the initial level and we keep it for some time, say at rest. We will see the water level rises here, or the level of the solution inside it rises. Now how long it will rise? It will go on rising as long as there is the osmotic concentration that becomes equal on both sides. That is theoretically, but practically it doesn't occur. So what happens actually is that the water moves through the semi-permeable membrane here inside so that the level of the solution rises. Now if we consider this, suppose we consider the water with inside the beaker as a soil water and this as a cell sap. Okay, the cell sap which is contained inside the cell, we see that the movement of the solvent takes place through the semi-permeable membrane. Now this is what is osmosis. If we do the reverse way, we keep inside pure water and outside concentrated salt solution, the level of the water will fall down. Now this we can also compare to as an exoosmosis in the cell. So there are two types of osmosis. One is endoosmosis, when the water moves from outside the cell to inside the cell. That means inside the cell is more concentrated, outside the cell it is less concentrated. So there is an inward movement through the cell membrane, or which is said to be a semi-permeable membrane. Remember this word semi-permeable, selectively permeable, differentiated permeable, all refers to the same membrane. Now, we can cite some examples of the semi-permeable membrane. Let us know some of the semi-permeable membrane. Like say for example, goat's urinary bladder is a semi-permeable membrane. A cell membrane is a plant cell is a semi-permeable membrane. A plasma membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Or a fish swim bladder is a semi-permeable membrane. Or an egg membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. So that means through this membrane, the solvent moves because there are pores which allow the solvent to move but don't allow the solute to move. Now, what is tonicity? Tonicity is the concentration of the solution as compared to another solution. So, if you have two solutions separated by a semi-permeable membrane, let's say a plant cell is immersed in water, pure water, or a less concentrated solution, there is inward movement of the water. Now this inward movement causes the plasma membrane to stretch to the wall of the cell, and that is, we say the cell is to be turgid. The reverse will happen if we put the cell in a concentrated salt solution. The same cell, you will see the cell membrane is retracting from the cell wall and the shrinkage of the protoplasm takes place. So that is called a flaccid cell. So we say that this cell has been in pure water. Now that is, we say this water is hypotonic in reference to the cell membrane. And also the reverse here, the concentrated salt solution is hypertonic with relation to the concentration of the solution inside the cell. Now let us move on. So tonicity, you know that there are three types of solution. There is hypertonic, if it is more concentrated with relation to the other, hypotonic if it is less concentrated, and isotonic if the concentration is same on both sides of the cell membrane. Now we will learn about another term called plasmolysis, the contraction of the protoplasm of the plant cell as a result of loss of water. You have seen there that if you have kept a cell in a hypertonic solution, the water moves out of the cell and then the cell protoplasm shrink, and that's called plasmolysis. Now if that cell membrane has retracted to a certain extent, we call it incipient plasmolysis. If we put that cell back to a hypotonic solution, we see the cell again regains its shape. We call it deplasmolysis. So deplasmolysis and turgidity often refers to the same term. Now what is the significance of this? Now significance of this particular chapter that we are dealing with, or the topic, it helps in maintaining the turgidity of the plants. Okay, like you'll see the plants are very fresh in the morning because that time the cells are turgid. But in afternoon, if you see small herbaceous plant, they droop down because of excess of water lost through transpiration. The cell membrane are in a shrinkage stage, and that's why we say they are plasmolyzed. Turgor pressure also helps in building up the root pressure, which helps to pull the water to a certain extent. So we also, this particular topic that we see that it helps in developing the turgor pressure. Turgor pressure, you know, sometimes it is also a nuisance, like in some of the plants, the root turgor pressure is so much, like in peepal plant or banyan plants, they usually break the wall. Sometimes, you know, through bird droppings, the seeds germinate in the rooftop, and the turgor pressure of the root breaks the wall and it causes damage to building. Now turgor pressure, this plasmolysis also causes lysis of bacteria and fungus cells. So that lysis, you know, that's why we see if we have in case of say jams or jellies, or in case of say for example pickles, we have high concentration of salt that keeps the bacteria and fungal cells away, okay, because wherever they develop there, they are plasmolized and they do not survive there. So that causes lysis. In some cases, you know, plasmolysis is used for de-weeding, like Parthenium, a poisonous weed, is killed by spraying salt water, and if you put salt water, it plasmolizes the cells of this Parthenium plant, which cannot be handled easily with hand because it's an allergen. So that is also used for that purpose. Now in a cell, when it is fully turgid, the water that moves in from the hypotonic solution towards the inside the cell, the pressure that is related or required to stop the flow of osmosis is called the osmotic pressure.